I'm kidding. Thank you, Alicia, for that beautiful prelude. Good morning. My name is Martha Kirby. A couple of housekeeping items before we begin. Please silence your cell phones. I'm turning mine off. I like to keep up with the online audience, so it's still there. Please wait for a microphone before speaking as we stream online via Zoom and YouTube. And be mindful of your words, because they might be out there for a long time. We're glad you've chosen to be with us this morning, whether in person or online. We aspire to be a warm and welcoming place of diverse beliefs, shared values, and one community, and we look forward to getting to know you. Please join us after service for refreshments and conversation, and we love questions. Our Sunday services reflect varying voices, perspectives, and presentation styles as we explore the broader areas of spirituality, religion, science, and more through the lens of our UU shared values. Please visit several times to experience the breadth of our offerings and check out our past service presentations on our website or YouTube channel to explore the diversity of our programs. So please take this moment to wave to our members and friends online. I hope they're online. We're working on getting the Zoom up right now. And take a moment to say hello to someone near you, especially if you don't know them. All right. Thank you for that. And as soon as service is over, you may continue those conversations. Before we begin this morning's service, we'll hear from any committee chairs or event planners that have something of importance to share with the congregation. So please come forward if you do. I will start. We should have a screen up here in just a moment that will tell us some of our upcoming offerings. We have a program planning team Zoom tomorrow evening. The link is in the notable news. Next Saturday on the 10th, we have a service leader training. We have 2 new people that are stepping up, and the rest of us that have been service leaders are taking this time to recommit and see how we can up our game and work on that together. And then on the 31st, we will be having an in-person program planning meeting so that anyone here who's part of this group that would like to participate in planning our programs and what we share with each other, we have plenty of opportunities for you to take advantage of that. And it looks like there is nothing else this morning. How amazing. But if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, see us afterwards. There's a QR code out there. You can get all our announcements coming weekly to your inbox. And I'm talking a little bit slowly now as Jill approaches the podium from hospitality.
I thought I had some time. Good morning. Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay. Potluck is next week. And first, before I even talk about potluck, I want to say thank you to all of the members who have volunteered in the kitchen, in the coffee service. We really appreciate it. We've had a lot of new volunteers, so that's great. We could use a couple of helpers next week for potluck, though, and then going forward. So check my little schedule up there on the counter, and you'll see. Thank you.
And this potluck is going to be a special focus on vegan and vegetarian, right? As we have a speaker
Tie in with the service, yeah.
that will be talking about that.
Tie in with the service, so it'll be really nice. And you can go online and get inspired by all kinds of recipes, vegetarian and vegan.
Hey, Amanda Major. I'm representing the Parent Support Group. We meet the first and third Sundays of every month, and if you are in a parenting type role, you're welcome. We have gained a whole lot of support from each other over the years, so you're welcome to come. We have a good time, and we're looking forward to it. See you then.
Good morning, everyone. Miguel Rodriguez from the Social Action Committee, and Happy New Year. All right, awesome. We literally and figuratively started off the new year with a bang. At least our administration has. So as in wars past, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, and on and on and on, we'll have to, take care of our Venezuelan brothers and sisters. So we'll keep that in mind as the Social Action Committee gears up this month on the 4th of Sunday, Sunday the 25th. We start again talking about these things and trying to help our neighbors, local and international. So we'll also be reading from a short book called On Tyranny, and talking about how we prepare for the midterm elections. So hope you can join us to help, again, the community, our local communities volunteering to help, Hope for Apopka, Hope Community Center in Apopka, and organizations like that. So looking forward to seeing you. Everyone is welcome. And that's in the library or on
Zoom.
It's a new year. And Zoom at noon we'll be meeting. Thank you.
Good morning, Margie with membership. I know how to have a good time, but I don't want to hog all the good times just to myself. So if you also would like to spend some time out here as a greeter, get to be the first person to see some of my favorite people every week and get to know new people, let me know and we'll sign you up. I'll be gone for the next couple of weeks, so it would be great to get some volunteers for the rest of January. You can see either me or Bettina, and thanks in advance.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be together with you this morning in this warm and loving community, taking a short break from the chaos of the world. Here, through friendship and conversation, we can support and inspire each other as we begin another year together. I've chosen to open this morning with a prayer by the Reverend Beth Monholland. She wrote it for January 2024, but it seems even more appropriate today. In the new year, may Unitarian Universalists carry each other, or subtitled, Let's Forego the Pressure of Resolutions and Spend Time in Healing Community instead. This year, in this new year, may we leave behind the weight of unfilled resolutions, of unrealized dreams, and of unrealistic expectations. May we unpack the heavy weight of stories that tell us we are unworthy and unlovable. May we remember that we each carry inside of us a spark of the divine. In this new year, may we carry kindness, gentleness, and hope that hold us through even the hardest days and the most daunting risks. May we carry the weight of memory that reminds us of who we are, and the weight of spirit that reminds us we are still becoming. May we carry the seed of knowledge that teaches us that improvement and growth aren't linear and individualistic, but are cyclical and communal. May we carry the wisdom to seek rest and connection, to lean into mutual care. May we carry the certain belief that when we have patterns of thinking and behaving that harm ourselves and others, we can seek resources that will help us move toward healing. May we carry the knowledge that happiness and success take many shapes, and one of those shapes is purpose. May we carry purpose lightly, trusting that it changes and evolves and surprises us. May we carry curiosity, wonder, and the ability to be surprised. This year, may we carry space for all of our flaws, all of our longings, and all of our love, remembering that the truly daring adventure of life is not to be better, better, best, but to show up wholly, authentically, lovingly as ourselves. May we carry these prayers and carry each other into the new year. Now let us sing together as Janet comes up and leads us in hymn number 1. All the hymns today are in the gray hymnal if you'd like to follow along.
And please rise and body or spirit.
May nothing evil cross this door, and may fortune never pry about these windows. May the rain and rain go by. By faith made strong, the rafters will stand the battering of the storm. This heart, though the world grow chill, will keep you warm. Peace shall walk softly through these rooms, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner blooms into our shrine. With laughter drown the rockers shout, and thought the sheltering walls are thin. May they be strong to keep it out and hold love in.
Thank you. Our chalice lighter this morning is Jo. She is 6 years old, and she got a new outfit for Christmas. So, doesn't she look beautiful? Please join me in these words. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek and to stay and to share. And the affirmation of this church: love is the spirit of this gift, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. Sharing moments of joy and sorrow is a long-standing tradition in our fellowship. Joys multiply, generating high fives and big smiles. Shared joys and concerns are hopefully lessened by knowing you are surrounded by love. So please come forward to the mic if you'd like to share, or if you'd rather share from your seat, just raise your hand and I'll bring the mic to you. Remember that we are streaming.
Good morning. I have a text from Roberta. She's indomitable. It's just amazing. She is in room 307. If you don't have the street address and want to send her a card, I have that information. See me afterwards. No one knows how long I'll be here. It is dependent on how fast I am able to recover. Thank everyone for their good thoughts, and I hope we have a healthy, happy New Year.
I rode my bike.
I'm getting over a cold, so I'll stand back a little bit. First of all, I have an incredible joy. I got a letter from the VA, and I'm going to be getting Joe's pension. Believe me, I was expecting a no, so this is like an incredible joy. It will make my life a lot easier. That said, my son, I visited him in San Diego. He's been asked to be a contributing writer for the LA Times, and they asked him to write something about what has just happened. I'm only going to read the last paragraph. He talks about there not being any voices from the American people about what happened. That silence is the point. When war can be initiated without authorization, explanation, and public consent, the precedent does not remain foreign. A government that learns it can use force abroad without restraint will apply that same logic at home, redefining law, emergency, and the necessity to suit its aims. A public that relinquishes its voice over war should not expect to be heard when power turns inward.
I talk about a different kind of inward. I just completed my, uncountable my annual retreat, self-retreat, 10 days in my backyard. And I really want to, I've been doing retreats since 1982. So it kind of came with the package when Paul and I got married. She knew this is what I do. But her generosity over the decades has just been remarkable. And so I'm very, very grateful to you, Paula, for your support in my spiritual adventures. And I'm going to be leading a one-day retreat next Saturday, the 10th, in Apopka, for anyone who might be interested in just chilling out for a day. Even if you've not meditated before, it's very easy to do. And I've been teaching a long time, so it should be a good time. Flyers are on that door there. If you have any questions, you can contact me or go to our website. I wish you well.
You're nervous today? Okay. She's really excited about the reading pillow and this rainbow squishmallow she got for Christmas. So she loves to read, so she's very happy about that.
Miguel Rodriguez again. I know we have a lot of concerns coming into the new year, but there's also joy. We made it through 2025. 2026 may be a whirlwind itself, but we got each other. And I know that because in 2025, this church helped me a lot go through it. Peter was a saint. He always was asking me how I was doing because it was really tough for me, particularly at work. And now I got a new position in my job, in my same company, but a different, better position a year later. So what a difference a year makes. Just hang in there. And Paula today gave me such a wonderful compliment. I mean, if I repeat it, I'll cry. So, but that's just so wonderful to help start the new year. Thank you, Paula. We have each other. This is a great place to be in this space, in this place. And you are family, and we'll get through it together. Okay. Thank you.
This morning I have both a joy and a concern. My joy is that William and I have been a part of the fellowship now for about a year, and the warmth and love that we have experienced here has just meant the world to us. It's been such a help to us in our lives. We appreciate everything that we do here with you, and we look forward to being even more involved and getting to know even more of you on a personal basis in the coming year. My concern, yesterday, William went to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription. He was informed that his copay would be $1,300. Well, as you can perhaps imagine, we are not those kinds of people. So, of course, he wasn't able to pick up his prescription. Now, it's a life-saving type prescription that he does need. Nothing has changed in our lives. Our insurance, everything about us remains the same from year to year for the past several years. So why this has happened, we don't really understand. But tomorrow will be Monday, and we'll begin to try to figure this out. But your waves of good vibrations and support may help us. So thank you for considering to send us a wave of support.
Thank you to everyone that trusted us enough to share. Let's share a moment of silence to honor those joys and concerns that were shared, those that remain unspoken, and those of the larger world community that are too many to name. Thank you. Do I see Tay for Time for All Ages? Yes, there she is.
Hi everyone. Happy start to 2026. I hope everyone has had a nice holiday season. As you know, people have a lot of traditions surrounding the start of a new year, whether it be eating 12 grapes for good luck and prosperity, or tossing furniture out the window to demonstrate to the universe the act of letting go, or making a New Year's resolution. My family's tradition is going through our playlists and hitting shuffle right as the clock strikes midnight, and that gives us our New Year's song, a song that will help define our year. However, as my song came up with the title Mrs. Narcissistic this year, I may have to look for a new tradition. However, based on something Tim Atkins posted on the UUA Worship Web, I thought we could create a tradition of our own. I would like everyone to think of a singular word. This could be any word, but it should be the theme you want this year to revolve around. Take a few moments and think about which word you want 2026 to tie back into for you. Okay, for those of you sharing, raise your hand and I will come and bring a mic up to you, and Kat is going to write your word down on the board up here.
Wisdom.
Serenity.
Kindness.
Peace.
Choice.
Joy.
Respectful.
Community.
Move.
Community and move.
Resistance.
Love.
Creativity.
Creativity, was that one? Anyone from this edge? Yes. Curiosity. Stable. Did I miss anyone who wanted to share a word? Stable, S-T-A-B-L-E. So, to recap, we have wisdom, serenity, kindness, joy, choice, peace, community, move, resistance, stable, creativity, curiosity, and respectful. Thank you, Kat. And I see a lot of great words. My personal word is experience, not only in the sense of trying new things, but improving on the skills I already have. It also means being present in the moments I share with the people and communities around me. So as this year continues to progress and you feel lost or unsure about what to do, come back to your word. Meditate on what it means for you and how what's going on in your life can tie back to it. Allow your word to be something that grounds and guides you as the year continues on. Thank you.
Thank you, Tay, for always giving us something new to think about. So now it's time for our interlude and offering. As the baskets are passed, please consider the gifts you receive and those you have to offer. And as you are able, offer a contribution to help support our fellowship and our Share the Plate partner for the first quarter of 2026, the Center of Orlando, whose mission is to promote and empower the LGBTQ community and its allies through education, advocacy, information, and support. And we will be hearing from them on the first Sunday in February to learn more about them. Nicole, the director, will be coming. So, I welcome up Gary Levins for hymn 289.
Lisa will play it through once, and then we can sing. Creative love, our thanks we give, that this our world is incomplete, that struggle greets our will to live, that work awaits our hands and feet, that we are not yet fully wise, that we are in the making still, as friends who share Christ, and strive to blend with nature's will. But through the future long delayed, and still with faults we daily cope, it gives us that for which to pray, the field for toil and faith and hope. Jesus is what we are, and what we love we yet shall be. The goal may ever shine afar, the will to reach it makes us free.
A little bit of a tricky rhythm, but some really good words. Really good words. We sing our children out for their classes. We love you and bless you and send you on your way. We love you and bless you today and every day. Thank you. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce Dan Gribbin, a retired professor of English who taught for more than 25 years at Ferrum College in Virginia and also at UCF. He currently serves the UU Ormond Beach as co-chair of the worship committee, and he and his wife, also a Martha, live in Daytona Beach shores. So please welcome him back to share with us what he's learned about Margaret Fuller.
Thanks, Martha. You may remember that it was Star Wars Sunday when I was here the last time. And that's appropriate because I'm going to talk just a tiny bit about space. When I was young, and that was in the early to mid 1950s, probably one or two people in this room remember those days, television was also young. We had a black and white RCA TV in our living room. It measured 12 inches on the diagonal, about the size of the screen of a typical laptop today. So if you could picture yourself watching a black and white screen on a laptop across the room, that was how families watched TV back in those days. And corporate America was just learning how to exploit the TV audience, profitable ways to take advantage of our focus on the small screen. Marketing to kids was one of those directions that they took. And you know how kids loved in those days to play cowboys and Indians. I had a full Cisco Kid makeup. My favorite cowboy was Hopalong Cassidy. I don't know if that means anything to you all. My rocking horse was Topper. And there were puppet shows galore back then, including Howdy Doody was the first national puppet show. Then you had Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. And it was space shows, though, that I really responded to, including Flash Gordon. And today, the special effects on the Flash Gordon show would really make you smile, because they just had every time the rocket was shown, they had a little thing going like that. Wasn't very realistic. But the other show that I liked was Captain Midnight. And they advertised a product called Ovaltine. I don't even know if it's still available, but chocolate crystals that you put into milk and stirred up. And if I mailed in a dime and the little wax top from the Ovaltine, I was the proud owner then of a decoder ring and a membership kit that would make me a Captain Midnight Video Ranger. So, from radio, I listened to a whole lot of radio shows, but here was this kid on television. I could see him, and he had his decoder ring, and then they would give us this special message that we decoded. So that was an amazing benefit of being part of this club, was that you were able to get these secret messages. So I was a Captain Midnight Video Ranger, and I only bring this up because 70 years later now, I turned 80 in 2025. It's kind of an ugly year, but great milestone for me. Here we are together, sort of as a little club. So how about we're the University UU Video Rangers this morning, if you'll accept that honor. I think it might be useful to begin the new year reminding ourselves about what's contained in our little membership kit in this club. So what have we gotten ourselves into? So Miguel, let's go to the next slide here. Just some facts and figures that to remind you that we're part of quite a large club, as a matter of fact. We have, 60 years after the merger. The merger was in 1961, so it's like 65 years after the merger, 64. We now have 1,000 congregations with 150,000 members in the United States, so that's pretty impressive numbers. The mothership is up in Boston, and can still be visited there, I believe, right? The UUA. But worldwide, there are 800,000 UU members. And I was sort of complaining to our congregation recently that when we go to Paris, we never see anything about French UUs. And then there was an article almost immediately that appeared that said that in one of the outer arrondissements, there's a UU congregation in Paris. So we're going to have to check in with them the next time. Let's work our way up to Margaret Fuller now. Miguel, let's go to the next slide, which will show us William Ellery Channing. Our particular approach to spiritual practice as UUs sort of began with the role of William Ellery Channing turning Unitarianism to the left, I guess you would say, toward a more progressive direction, at least. Unitarianism was based on Puritan belief, and he stuck his neck out. Channing stuck his neck out, de-emphasizing those Puritan concepts: limited atonement, scriptural infallibility, characterizing Jesus as a God. Channing believed in the individual spiritual journey, which makes sense to all of us, but he put the emphasis on it. Pursuing our spiritual journey by way of the free will granted to us by God. He emphasized our unencumbered right to seek the truth. He identified the Bible as a source, not the source, of spiritual guidance, and declared that Jesus was a guide, not the guide, in our spiritual journey. 30 years Channing's junior, so he was sort of the grand old man of this progressive movement, and roughly contemporary with Ralph Waldo Emerson, Margaret Fuller represented what we might call next-gen universalism. Now we've got, Miguel, a portrait of Emerson on this slide, and then we can pop forward again to the only daguerreotype, so it's like a photograph that has come down to us of Margaret Fuller. So I'd like to help us this morning to acquaint ourselves better with Fuller and her role in the movement of transcendental thought toward a more liberal form of Unitarianism. So here's a quick quiz. True or false? Margaret Fuller, who was the brightest intellectual mind of her generation, was quite a party girl as a member of her sorority in college. True or false? If you said true, you were probably very popular as a sorority girl in college, but Margaret was not. She was the firstborn in her family, and her father worked hard to educate her as if she were a boy. And she was reading at age 4, doing Latin and Greek by the time she became a teenager, and generally being educated in ways that most girls probably weren't at the time. So she was also not a very good party girl. She wasn't. They sent her to girls' schools, and she wasn't very popular when she got there. She didn't have that kind of personality. On top of that, of course, college was strictly for men. You went to Harvard. Her father did. He was a Harvard graduate who went into politics, served in the Massachusetts legislature and the U.S. Congress, and then came back to Massachusetts again. But generally, women took a secondary role in every aspect of life in the first half of the 19th century, and that was what Margaret Fuller addressed. She published an essay in the Dial. She was editing the Dial for its first couple of years. Miguel, let's go forward to, I think we've got the January 1942, and 1842, yeah. In one of the issues soon after that, she published an article about woman's role, woman in the 19th century, and then she worked that up into a book. So Miguel, let's go to the next one, which shows you Woman in the 19th Century as the title of her book. Her first name was Sarah, actually, so she put the S on there. Now, in my mind, I was always thinking that Woman in the 19th Century meant that it was a book about woman writers in the 19th century, but there were none at the time that she was writing, essentially. So she couldn't, it would be a very thin volume, if she wrote about women writers in the 19th century. No, she was writing about the status of women in the 19th century, in her time. She was making the case then that there should be works by women, published works by women, because women were as capable of addressing issues of the day intellectually and spiritually as men were. She was the first feminist voice to sound that note decisively in America, that women needed to be recognized for their intelligence and their contribution to society. Now, the transcendental group that met in Emerson's home in Concord in the late 1830s and 40s was not closed to Margaret Fuller. She was recognized as an equal with the other members of that group. It was interesting to me that William Ellery Channing chose not to sit in on those sessions because he thought he might overshadow the discussions because of his fame. I'm going to share with you, first of all, a general description of Unitarianism by William Ellery Channing's nephew, William Henry Channing, a general description, then he'll go on to talk about Margaret Fuller. So here's William Henry Channing speaking about progressive Unitarianism. On the somewhat stunted stock of Unitarianism had been grafted German idealism as taught by masters of various schools, and the result was a vague yet exalting conception of the godlike nature of the human spirit. Transcendentalism, as viewed by its disciples, was a pilgrimage from the idolatrous world of creeds and rituals. They were not very impressed with organized religion as it was practiced by Catholics in particular. A pilgrimage from the idolatrous world of creeds and rituals to the temple of the living God in the soul. Amidst materialists, zealots, and skeptics, the Transcendentalists believed in perpetual inspiration, the miraculous power of will, and a birthright to universal good. He sought to hold communion face to face with the unnameable spirit of his spirit and gave himself up to the embrace of nature's beautiful joy as a babe seeks the breast of a mother. Nature, a key element in Transcendentalist thought. To him, the curse seemed past, and love was without fear. His work was to be faithful to truth as the very word of God. His maxims were trust, dare, and be. Infinite good is ready for your asking. Seek and find. All that your fellows can claim or need is that you should become, in fact, your highest self. Fulfill, then, your ideal. That seems like a fairly modern conception, doesn't it? And that was William Henry Channing speaking about progressive transcendental Unitarian thought. So, having summed up this very positive message of liberal Unitarianism with a page full of masculine pronouns, William Henry Channing then writes this about Margaret Fuller. Of this transcendental group, she was a member by grace of nature. Her romantic freshness of heart, her craving for the truth, her self-trust had prepared her from childhood to be a pioneer in prairie land. I love that phrase. It was a new America, a pioneer in prairie land. And her discipline in German schools, she really had studied German literature a great deal. Her discipline in German schools had given definite form and tendency to her idealism. Her critical yet aspiring intellect filled her with longing for germs of positive affirmation. In place of the chaff of thrice-sifted negation, while her aesthetic instinct responded in accord to the praise of beauty as the beloved heir of good and truth, whose right it is to reign. On the other hand, I love this part because it's sort of a backhand compliment. On the other hand, strong common sense saved her from becoming visionary. Maybe he's saying saved her from just floating off into the ether, I'm not sure. Well, she was too well read as a scholar to be caught by conceits. I guess that would be kind of twisting logic around in debate. And had been too sternly tried by sorrow to fall into fanciful effeminacy. That's an interesting phrase. But I think he meant it as a compliment. So, at any rate, Margaret Fuller was an extraordinary person, as you can tell from Channing's description there. He goes on to say, it was evident that men prized her verdict, respected her criticism, feared her rebuke, and looked to her as an umpire. Now, this is pre-baseball, so understand that looked to her as somebody who could settle disputes, I guess you would say. Very observable was it also how in side talks they became confidential. The other members of the Transcendental group, in other words, they became confidential, seemed to glow and brighten into their best mood, and poured out in full measure what they but scarcely hinted in the circle at large. The way I'm visualizing that is that these side talks are like a reference to the coffee hour after the formal discussion. And she was trusted by the men in the discussion to talk with discreetly on the side. So Margaret Fuller's essential contribution to the Transcendental movement and to American thought is pretty well established there by William Henry Channing. He regards her as unique. She's been described as America's first female public intellectual. She was the first editor of The Dial, and that was the journal of this Society of Transcendental Thinkers that included even Thoreau. Pinning down Thoreau to a deadline for an article in The Dial was a pretty good accomplishment by Fuller, I would say. Now, her book, Woman in the 19th Century, is America's first feminist work, I think we could easily call it, arguing for full equality between men and women. That emphasis is present early in the book when, after stating optimistically that a new manifestation is at hand, a new hour in the day of man, Fuller extends that thought to refer to woman as the other chamber in the heart of life. So if somebody asks you what metaphor is, that's a very effective metaphor, isn't it? The other chamber in the heart of life, and man would be one and woman would be the other. An equal contributor to the new mode of thought and worship. Woman, she writes, needs now to take her turn in the full pulsation, so she's still sticking with that circulation of the blood, I guess. Woman needs to take her turn in the full pulsation for improvement in the daughters will best aid in reformation of the sons of the age. The men are described as needing reformation. The daughters will bring that out. Now, we can be sure that not all of these sons of the age were in accord with this beautifully worded statement of equality, but Fuller was certainly not going to apologize to them for putting a strong foot forward on behalf of women who had long been referred to as the distaff side of the gender spectrum. Sit at home and spin the wool while the men went out and accomplished things. Fuller offers a blistering critique of marriage as an institution that, by favoring men in the courts, prevented women from escaping from violence and mistreatment of themselves and their children. Women have not even been empowered to speak out on their own publicly, she says, even though it's obvious if we observe actresses, for example, we see that women can speak effectively in a public setting. And she includes Quaker preachers. So there must have been a reasonable number of women preaching from Quaker pulpits. She includes them in her example of women being able to speak out effectively in public. No one can doubt, she writes, that women can express publicly the fullness of thought and creation without losing any of the peculiar beauty of her sex. That's a kind of cute way to put it, isn't it? One argument put forth by men on the subject of gender that really raises Margaret Fuller's hackles is, you cannot reason with a woman. She is at great pains to dispel the notion that a man must do the thinking for a woman because a woman is incapable of thinking for herself. Fuller's implication is that if a man cannot reason with a woman, it must be that the woman he's confronted with is threatening to run circles around him. A man cannot reason with a woman. Indeed, Woman in the 19th Century is a volume into which Margaret Fuller poured her heart on this subject of women's equality. It's a testament in itself, the book in itself is a testament to the reasoning power of women. Fuller is so well read that she can offer numerous examples from mythology and history and from European, Scandinavian, and Eastern literature for her key points about marriage and the treatment of women. If I were the editor, as she submitted that manuscript, I would say she probably draws upon too many examples from all these different sources in her reading. She could be more focused, but she shows off her erudition in the course of her argument there. When she refers to Spinoza, I don't know about you, I read Spinoza in a philosophy class and I was really impressed with him. But she really goes after him. When she refers to Spinoza's specious argument that there have never been kingdoms jointly ruled by a man and a woman, you can practically hear her slapping her forehead and shouting, "What in the world are you talking about?" She fires off example after example of joint rulership, and then refers back to examples that she has already given of women ruling on their own, women such as England's Queen Elizabeth I. Miguel, if we could bring up, I just thought it was fun to take a look at a woman ruling England in that costume. That's right, she had him. But there's Elizabeth I, a strong and capable woman who ruled quite effectively in an era of male domination and played them against each other, you know. We can hear Fuller shouting from the pages of her book, "Who needs a man?" Women can rule. She doesn't put it quite that bluntly, but that's what she's implying. Miguel, let's go forward. This is a couple that she offers as an example, William Godwin and Mary Wollstonecraft. She offers them as an example of a couple who are united in their mutual respect for each other's intellectual abilities, as well as their love for each other. Their tragically short relationship doesn't offer the best example of marriage of equals, unfortunately. They had an equal partnership, but it was a marriage entered into solely on the basis of legitimizing the children. They didn't really believe in marriage. I don't think either one of them did. But still, what Fuller is emphasizing is that men and women could meet equally on the intellectual level. And she's correct in identifying Mary Wollstonecraft as a wonderful example of an English woman who enjoyed a rich intellectual life and was recognized for her achievements as a writer. You're probably aware that the poet Percy Shelley married their daughter Mary, and you probably know what work she authored, Frankenstein, yes. But Fuller offers Percy Shelley as an example of a reformer who supported women's rights in his relatively brief life. In reading Women in the 19th Century, I was particularly touched by the way Margaret Fuller returned to the subject of William Ellery Channing's contribution to the Transcendentalist Society. As I mentioned, Channing didn't sit in on the meetings. He died in 1840, which was just at the beginning of her strength as the editor of the Dial and publishing of this book and so on. Margaret Fuller writes of him, "The late Dr. Channing, who whose enlarged and tender and religious nature shared every onward impulse of his time. He was greatly interested in these expectations for women. His own treatment of them was absolutely and thoroughly religious. He regarded women as souls, each of which had a destiny of its own, incalculable to other minds, and whose leading it must follow. He had sentiment, delicacy, kindness, taste, but they were all pervaded and ruled by this one thought, that all beings had souls and must vindicate their own inheritance. Thus, all beings were treated by him as an equal, and sweet though solemn courtesy, he demanded of all he met, to use his favorite phrase, great truths. He demanded of all he met great truths. Let's consider for a moment the Unitarian urge to seek the truth. The importance of clinging to basic truths and demanding truth is brought home to us every day in the horrible fog of lies being spread by people in the highest levels of our government and their followers on social media. But consider, too, that various religious denominations have attempted to concretize truth in documents such as the Apostles' Creed that may well stick in the craw of a person with an open mind and a questing heart. Faith attached to a stake pounded into the ground can end up encompassing a very small circle compared to faith based on the constant search for truth. And that was what Fuller so cherished, the idea of the constant search for truth. And she saw that in William Ellery Channing. There's one argument about transcendentalist thinking that I think we ought to address before we conclude, and that is that Unitarian Universalists and other positive people don't take into account the evil of the world. You know, that we're all stuck on positivity. I don't think that charge is particularly well-founded, but I'd like to offer you the best example that I have ever encountered, Thich Nhat Hanh. His experience certainly shows that a positive outlook in the search for truth can exist in full view of the worst experiences imaginable. Martha and I spent a week up in the Boston area participating in a retreat held by Thich Nhat Hanh, or Thai as he was called. When we signed up for it, we had no idea there'd be 1,100 people there. But having experienced Thai's manner of speaking in a video that we had, we were not at all surprised that he could captivate a large field house full of people. And what he did was offer examples of people that he had encountered and talked with, and shared his thoughts and experiences about their lives and his approach. Now, this was a man who had experienced the ultimate and horrific disruption and dislocation of his life. As a young man, he was working to establish Buddhism, reestablish Buddhism as a spiritual force in Vietnam. And the war broke out, basically destroying his homeland. He was designated an enemy of the state, and his strength of character was such that he, when he left Vietnam, established a monastery in France called Plum Village, not too far from Bordeaux, where people could come and spend time refreshing their spirit and practicing mindfulness. But at Plum Village, they focused on American GIs who had been traumatized by their service in Vietnam, rehabilitating them. So I bring this up as an example of the idea that a positive search for truth does not rule out the ability to look at the worst experiences in life and carry on. And I like that picture on the right there where so many people are listening to Ty and talking with him at Plum Village. I've been present at a lot of church services in my life. I cannot claim to have carried away from them a message that stayed with me so strongly as the message in our UU covenant, and yours is very similar to ours that we repeated earlier. It speaks of love, service to the community, dwelling together in peace and freedom, seeking the truth, helping one another. I firmly state to you that that was what I walked away from the first service in a UU church that I experienced. I walked away with those ideas in my head. That was what convinced me it was a good thing to come back to that church. But wouldn't you love to package that, put it in a syringe and inoculate the body of America right now with that search for truth and helping one another? It's a relief, though, to know that these principles are part of our experience here as a group in consort with like-minded people, and that this practice is being honored by our fellow UUs throughout the country and throughout the world. Margaret Fuller would be beaming if she were standing next to me at this moment to see how thoroughly we have integrated her message of the value of men and women working together in the quest for spiritual truth. And I know she would appreciate the simple words of Thich Nhat Hanh that I'm going to share with you. Miguel, let's put that up. Martha was really strong on contributing to Thich Nhat Hanh's movement, and so we bought this piece of calligraphy, and it's actually, we see it every day in our home. I decided to put it to music so that we could sing it usually at the end of our services. I'm going to get a little assistance. The first time we go through, we'll do it without piano because I'm just going to ask the group to echo me, and then we're going to add some music to it. So will you echo me line by line here? Let's see how it goes. I have arrived. I am home. I am here. Peace is now. I have arrived. I am home. Peace is now. Okay, we're going to sing it together now with some accompaniment. I have arrived. I am home. I am here. Peace is now. I have arrived. I am home. Peace is now. Peace is now. Thank you so much. We're really pleased to be here with you and to sing with you because I usually have a guitar in front of me. And Martha and I often provide music at our UU. I think it's a nice way to share, and I'm sure you agree. Glad to be with you this morning.
Thank you, Dan. Please join me in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, not light truth, warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. I'd like to invite Anne up for our closing music.
I
I invite you to stand up as you're willing and able to join me in hymn number 170. It's in the gray hymnal, and it's called "We Are a Gentle, Angry People." We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives.
Thank you. Before we listen to our prelude, I'd like to share these words by Howard Thurman, another one of our UU ancestors. Now the work of Christmas begins. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, the work of Christmas begins to find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the people, to make music in the heart. Let it be so.